a special provisions bill that would create a super minister has been created. What is this special provisions bill that could possibly give rise to a super minister?
The allegation that is raised at present is that if the draft of the Development Special Provisions Bill receives parliamentary approval, then the position of a super minister will be created. The Cabinet of Ministers approved the resolution of the Prime Minister to present this bill to Parliament on the 25th of October. A number of suggestions for activities that would affect the development of the country have been made through this bill. A policy development office to allocate resources, draft national policies and review them is to be established through this bill. The national policies are to be drafted and forwarded to the Minister. The Minister will then present it to the Cabinet of Ministers and Parliament for approval. Enacting the draft that is compiled by the Policy Development Office after it receives parliamentary approval is vested with Development Agency. Power for investment, import and export, job creation, financial matters, infrastructure facility development and a number of other matters are vested with this institution. The agency will also have the power to create laws to enact national policies. The establishment of a regional development board has also been suggested in this bill. Thereby, regional development boards will be established in the south, northwest, central, eastern and in the northern regions. The board will comprise of a chairman appointed by the minister and a number of other members. They will be vested with the responsibility of implementing the decisions and the advice of the development agency and other development activities on a 3-year plan. The decisions pertaining to the demarcation of these regions are vested with the agency and a certificate needs to be obtained from the agency to invest in the regions. Meanwhile, provisions have been made to establish a board comprising the President and the Prime Minister for rural modernization. The board will also include the Ministers of Finance, the rural economy, land, development strategies and international trade, industries, agriculture, fisheries, plantation industries and animal husbandry, as well as the Chief Ministers of all the provinces and 7 other members appointed by the President in consultation with the Minister. The board shall monitor the implementation and review all activities of the Development Agency. In addition, an agency for international trade will also be established. Suggestions have been made to give broad authority to this agency with regard to imports and exports. It is suggested that the President is to annually summon a conference of the Cabinet of Ministers, Chief Ministers of the provinces and the chairpersons of parliamentary oversight committees to discuss the plans, programs, schemes and projects under this Act. The draft includes a statement that reads, "No action or prosecution shall be instituted against any act which is done in good faith."
The dangerous matter is that this has received some form of freedom from the court. If the head of the appointed institutions is doing a certain thing in good faith, he cannot be taken to court for a civil or criminal legal case. If he carried out a malpractice and if he implicates it as an act of good faith, he will be released. If this ministry is taken over by the Prime Minister, that will grant him more powers than the executive presidency. The only thing this act cannot do is to make a man a woman. Everything else can be done by a super minister for 3 years. The Prime Minister has the power to take a decision with regard to any state-owned land. The decisions cannot be challenged in court. This is an act that violates the Constitution. The joint opposition will take legal action against this act and go to the Supreme Court. The country itself can be sold. If this act is passed, the President will have nothing to do. When this comes to Parliament, there will be 7 days to challenge this in court. You can go to court during that time frame. Then this should be discussed in Parliament. We will provide our independent views regarding this act at that time as the SLFP. There are certain questionable matters. This needs to be amended in a way that a dictatorial minister will not be created. This is just another minister. The system of the country cannot be changed. There is no such group as super ministers. This needs to come to Parliament. Then it will be taken to court. Then certain matters will be said. We will see what happens in Parliament.
අපේ ආයතන සියලු දේම සුපිරි මට්ටමට ගේනවා.